Welcome to Sanctuary Church Online. We're a church that meets every Sunday right here in Providence, Rhode Island, a community that wants to walk by faith, be known by love, and be a voice of hope for our region. Today, Pastor Andrew is teaching on the question, what if joy isn't something you find, but something you choose?
Searches for anxiety at night have risen ninefold in the last decade. Here in Rhode Island, where we are, anxiety rates are 10% higher than the national average. And maybe that's not you. Maybe you're not curled up in crippling anxiety right now in a corner. But if you are honest, you're walking through life less alive, a little numb, carrying far less joy than you know you were meant to. Into that, the scriptures speak. Paul writes from prison. He says, rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice, which at first glance is not the best verse to read when you're actually going through pain, struggle, anxiety. It feels a bit impossible. Like always? Really? Rejoice always, Paul. Paul, remember, writing this from jail. He is not peddling cliches. He is pointing to something deeper. Jesus himself said in John 15, I have told you this, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete. At the center of the universe is not a God who's angry or detached, but a God that's full of joy. And Jesus apparently wants you and I to share in that fullness. And here's where we get this whole discussion, I think, backwards. Most of us treat joy like it's something that might show up someday, like when the season finally ends, or when this part of my life finally starts working out, or when these things over here calm down. But that kind of joy is so fragile. It rises and falls with our circumstances. One phone call, one diagnosis, one breakup, and it's gone. That's not the kind of joy the scriptures speak about. It's not the kind of joy that Jesus promises. The Bible's vision of joy is rooted actually in a much bigger story. What I would, as a follower of Jesus, would call the true story of the whole world. A story where everything sad will one day become untrue, where death doesn't have the last word, where your identity is settled, where you can rest in knowing that you are a loved child of God. Maybe you can start to see the connection to this. We wait for joy because we tie it to things working out, but God offers joy that's actually tied to Him. It's not about what's happening around you. It's about the story that you're living in. And when that story kind of gets into your bones, joy isn't just a feeling. It actually becomes a posture. So how do we live into that story? Paul, in that same section where he says, rejoice in the Lord always, again, I say rejoice. Paul says this, don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. There's a little flow here. Surrender control. You're not holding it all together. 2 is give thanks. Gratitude shifts your mind, right, from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. And then 3 is prayer. Not your last resort, but your first move. And then he says, whatever's true, whatever's noble, whatever's right, whatever's pure, whatever's lovely, whatever's admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about those things. Don't just empty your mind of anxiety. Fill it with what is good. The way I like to say it is like lift your vision. Here's what's kind of amazing. Modern science backs this up, this idea that you actually have a say in all of this. Neurobiologists discovered that while most of your brain stops developing in childhood, there's one part that never stops growing, and they call it the joy center. It sits in the right orbital prefrontal cortex, and when it's strong, it regulates your emotions, It helps you recover from pain. It even overrides impulses like fear and rage and lust. But when it's weak, we chase cheap substitutes, and addiction, distraction, endless scrolling all kind of fill that space. Think about that. God actually designed your brain with what modern neurobiologists are calling a joy center that can expand. And the very practices Paul calls us into, gratitude, prayer, celebration, surrender, worship, are things that strengthen it. Joy isn't just spiritual, it's physical. It's how God wired you. And that's why Jesus told the story about a runaway son who squandered everything and then came crawling home. And the father says, bring the best robe, put a ring on his finger, kill the fattened calf. Let's have a feast and rejoice and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. Where's the joy? Well, it's at the party, the place where grace is bigger than fairness, where the undeserving are welcomed home, where heaven is breaking in. And then there's the older brother, who, if you don't know the story, he's standing out. He's out in the field, arms crossed, staying outside of the party, going, Dad, you never did this for me, ever. And I've been good and I've been faithful. And the father says in this famous line, this has got to be one of my favorite verses in the entire Bible. Jesus, in telling the story, says the father goes, my son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. That's the invitation. That's where the joy is. The story ends unresolved, right? We don't know if the older brother will actually go in or if he will stay outside. But this is the same question in front of us. Joy doesn't just fall on you like lightning. You cultivate it, you choose it. Thomas Aquinas wrote, no one can live without delight. And that is why a person deprived of spiritual joy goes over to carnal pleasures. If you don't feed joy, you will chase the cheapest of substitutes. And so my invitation to you is to start small. Begin your day, not with doom scrolling, but with prayer. Don't let your phone set your emotional equilibrium. Let God's love set it. Celebrate, even when it feels unreasonable, because God's love is unreasonable. The question for you is, where are you standing outside the party? What keeps you from stepping into the joy of the story the Father is telling? C.S. Lewis once said, if you want joy, you must get close to or even into the thing that has them. If you want joy, you have to go in. And the Father is there already waiting for you. So maybe today, your next step is simple. Pray, surrender, and celebrate the goodness of God right where you are. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find the joy that you were made for. All of us want joy. But left to ourselves, we chase it in things that don't last. Success fades, comfort slips away, control shatters, and we end up anxious or restless or empty-handed. And this is why the way of Jesus, the announcement of the scriptures, of the good news, is that God who created you hasn't left you searching. Out of love, he came in Jesus to rescue us from sin and everything that steals our truest joy. Through his death and his resurrection, he's renewing all things and making what is broken whole again. And by his Spirit, he is establishing a kingdom where joy isn't fragile, but unshakable. That means joy isn't just a passing feeling. It's not tied to circumstances. It is rooted in this story. It is rooted in Jesus, his presence with you, his work for you, his Spirit in you. So may be today is your moment to lift your vision, to stop waiting for joy to arrive, and to receive it as a gift from the one who has already done everything to give you life.
If something in this message spoke to you, or you're curious about Jesus or the church, we'd love to help you take the next step. You can click the link in the description to learn more or connect with us. And of course, we'd love to see you in person. We gather every Sunday right here at 15 Hayes Street in Providence. Have a great week. Hope to see you soon.